Seagull Bay Dairy is our home farm. This is where I live and manage operations here. This is where our donor herd is as well. We milk about 550 cows. We have all the close-ups, all the early lactation cows, and all the baby calves right here. Our second farm, about 50 miles to the west, is in Declo, and there we have 1,500 milk cows. Then once they dry off, they come back here. So we have two farms, but one herd, and pretty well most all the cows will visit both farms several times.
Okay.
So, that's what we've got. We've got about 200 mature Holsteins, and the rest are Pro Cross. Beginning of the 2000s there, we wanted to make some progress on health traits, and so we did go get into crossbreeding. It seemed like the fastest way to make advances on health traits, fertility improvement, and largely we've done that, and we've been able to maintain production. With the advances the last 7-8 years in the Holstein breed, we're very happy too with the Holsteins that we have, and we think the good modern Holstein is a great cow that can still. Our breeding goals is to have high producing Holsteins that also have good health traits, good fitness traits, and so that's really our focus in our Holstein breeding program, and we're really happy with the heifers, the 2- and 3-year-old heifers. We like them a lot. Go back, 98, we bought Line Meat Celsius Minnow. Been fantastic for us. We had the Minot Mirage cow that is the dam of Oman Mir, who's just a phenomenal modern brood cow, robust. She got her newly graduated son Bob. Those type of bulls, especially robust, his influence on the top end of the proven sires is just really significant. And so it's cool to have had some success there. Mir sold as a yearling here, went to Washington to Royling, and then my brother John now owns her with Triple Crown Genetics. But she's 11 years old and has had a huge impact in this move to health traits and production. That's really, when you want to talk about what impacts the bottom line for dairymen, it's production, but I also need them to be useful and hardy and fertile and those kind of things. When you take Oman and the best Oman daughters and best Oman sons, it's just been great improvement over the last 10 years. And so we're happy to have a part in that through Oman Mir. Then obviously Sean has been huge for us. Just talk about a cow that has been fun to work with. Bought her in 2008 as a choice, right when genomic testing was getting public. Bought her as a choice, made arrangements to test the resulting calves, genomic testing before we picked. She was the nicest calf at the time anyway, so we'd have probably picked her. But anyway, Sean has been one of those that, and then the mating to robust early on was just cool, because we had a hand in robust a little bit, and then to have Super Sire come out. He's one of those bulls that was a hot genomic bull, but then just look where he is now with daughters, and that's even more satisfying, obviously, that he's proven himself, and we hear lots of good things about the Super Sire daughters. And so obviously Shauna's been awesome. I mean, her Freddie sons are good, her robust sons are good, and then you go on to her, you know, her granddaughters and grandsons, and it's been great with her. She's 7 years old, milking on her second lactation, about 300 days, and she's a cow that's got great strength and width and an awesome udder. And so anyway, Shauna's cool, fun to work with. We still IVF her a little bit, just to make female calves, obviously, at this point. You know, then, you know, maybe even more recently, we're excited about our homozygous polled heifer named Roxy. We think she's going to have a cool impact on the breed. She's got significant numbers of pregnancies coming, and we'll continue to work with her. We're excited about a bull Comanche that we're marketing independently. You know, trying to market a little bit directly, and that's been good too. So right now, our model or our program is basically we're working these females IVF. The very best ones, you know, if they're well grown, will start at 8 or 9 months, and then on we try to breed them back, you know, by 17, 18 months at the latest. But we do a lot of IVF. We're transferring, you know, about 200, 250 embryos a month. We try to have, we have a pretty diverse donor pool. I think we try to have several different sire stacks. We focus a lot on the net merit. Now with the new wellness traits, we're using that in our donor selection and in our sire selection. I think it's good information to have. I trust, like with everything, I think it'll get better and more useful as the data pool grows. But you know, that's really our focus, is on good production and good fitness. And you know, really, when I say that, I want really good production and really good fitness. But you've got to blend those two together. Do we pay attention to type? Yeah, in for what we think its greatest uses are. In my office, I've got a big board in there. I guess I could, okay, bulls like Gage from Gen X, Damien, Reagan. Okay, then you go to ABS and some of their early bulls, Burley, Spock, used Skyfall, Select as Lopez, Banderas. Certainly we've used Modesty, not a lot lately. Charismatic, still using Charismatic. Certainly used him early because we bred the bull and we had some early semen. I think Charismatic's gonna make some waves. You know, then love to use that Helix bull, Silver Sun from Accelerated. I'm just waiting to get him, but that bull's really good. There's more, but I mean, see, I've gone back to a bull like Altagenuity, which he matches well, I think, on some of these really high production females. He's got the health traits and calving ease, and I saw his mother down in North Florida and just loved the cow, and so I'm like, I gotta use one of her sons. Just love the cow, and so we'll do a little bit of that too, where, you know, I mean, some of the Altagenuities are going to calve in, or they're probably calving in now.
Yeah, they're on already.
And then, but you know, we'll do some of that where, well, if there's a mating, it's not strictly about the new stuff, even though we all know it's fast-paced, and technically I guess it's a little bit of a race, but it's not so much that we're not going to go back to, if it's the right mating, I don't care if it's a little older. I mean, we used a lot of super sire on Uno and Mogul on super sire. Kind of some of these things where the bulls that were all peers, and then you get daughters from them, then go back to some of these outliers. And some of those matings have been just great, just really good. One is you need to, you still need to have a breeding focus. I think I've admired the breeders that are very disciplined, and I'm trying to do that. There's some bulls that are really tempting to use, but maybe there's something about the pedigree or there's some weak spot in that bull that you just say, hey, that's not what I'm going for. And sometimes they're really high on index, and you gotta leave them alone. If it doesn't make sense to you, leave them alone. And I think, as a breeder, I'm not a geneticist. I don't study it as much as others do and look at some of the chromosome maps or even some of the data that maybe I should look at. A lot of it, I've learned that if there's something in that bull that doesn't sit well with you, just leave him alone. And if you're wrong later, go buy one of his daughters. As far as everything else, it's the AI studs are keeping more of what they have. That's one thing you learn. As far as bulls being, available sexed only, as far as their own female programs, we're not going to necessarily change that, but I think you need to understand the way things are moving, and you either try to have a unique enough and a good enough product that you still have a place, or else you switch your focus to more of a female. Let's improve the genetics of the herd for increased profitability, and that's where I think the staying power is if you can continue to raise the performance of your production animals, then genetics always has a place in production agriculture. Your role in that, in the aggregate, may change or adapt, but if you're going to milk cows and you want to have a good herd of things that make you money, because we'll breed differently in a cheese market than guys in a fluid market will breed, or for the guys that make their money off of selling embryos to embryo buyers. I mean, you've got to look at what you do and want to do. And for us, we're making milk for a cheese market. And so when I pick in animals for components and fertility and those kind of things, we can still do that with an intense ET and IVF program and raise the whole level of our herd. And over time, the Holsteins are making a pretty big comeback for us. Well, there's certainly an opportunity right now to continue to work with them, and I mean, we see them as our partners still. Certainly there's still competition a little bit because they have a bull that we want to use and we can't use him or something. Let's say in essence, we market our own bull right now, which is just a little itty bit of the pie, but so you could say that that's a way that we're trying to stay relevant, is You know, we have a high net merit bull. He's one of the highest dairy wellness profit bulls. Can we sell that bull direct? Sure, we're doing it. Does it mean we want to sell all our own bulls? No. And so we still see the AI companies as our partners, and we want to have mutually beneficial relationships with them to improve our genetics and also to provide sires. And so we continue to do that. You know, we continue to work on breeding some of the best true polled animals out there. On the sire side, nobody's shy about saying you need some good homozygous polled sires for polled to take off. That product development takes some time, and I think there's opportunity there. There's opportunity for some breeders to work together with some who has some of the good bulls and who has some of the good females that we can work together on as far as making true polled animals. But those things take time, for sure. And so, but I think there is, I mean, the amount of genetic progress that's going on overall, really, certainly there's winners and losers, and there's less breeders making bulls for AI. Nobody can dispute that. It's also undisputable that if you have a big recip pool, that's advantageous for making sires, no doubt. But I do think in general, the guys milking cows are winning by the improved and accelerated genetic advancement that's going on. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So I think as a whole, the Holstein breed's done better, a lot better. Well, certainly, I mean, first off, I give respect and honor my dad, Alan, who's still very much involved. He lets me make most of the, I shouldn't say he lets me, he and I work together well, but I take care of the matings and a lot of the purchases and the sales, but he's certainly, even back in the 70s and 80s, he was one of the first guys in Idaho to start doing ET. He's done things with his own bulls even back in the 70s, where, you know, so my dad's always been an example of, hey, let's try this new stuff, for one. And so certainly he's the biggest part of that. As far as looking at other breeders as well, you know, I think Don Bennick's figured this out long before a lot of other guys did, and Don's got it figured out, I think. You know, I think Pine Tree, and I've certainly tied into some of their breeding success by getting into Shauna, even getting into a few others that have been big for me. But I think Pine Tree is very disciplined and very good at what they do. And then Lloyd Holterman in Wisconsin, he and I are friends, and I've been to his farm 3 or 4 times and just love his herd of cows. I think he breeds for what he wants, he knows what he wants, and they do very well. And so those would maybe be some of the 3, you know, off the top of my head that I've listened to, things they've written or said or are doing, and I pay attention when I hear, if I know they're talking or writing, or if I'm at their farm, and I've been to all those people's farms, and I trust their knowledge. I think people can get involved and get into it with, you know, take some embryos from some of these top donors and the breeder is going to want some of the, you know, the top 1 or 2 back, and then you know, you get some of those calves in your herd. I think that's a great way. You know, I think you've got to, with anything, you've got to decide what is it that you want to do and what is it you want to breed for. And then I'd say be disciplined about it and look at the economics of it. Don't underestimate the cost of recipients. Even if you own the recipients, there is a cost to all of the transfers, to all of the calf care, to all of the certain side effects that maybe come from being over anxious when you're pulling calves because they're ETs. You know, you've either got to milk that recip and you know, or you sell her if you don't have the room for her. But consider all of the costs that go into embryo transfer, because it's not just a flush fee and an ET fee. Consider all of the costs. I mean, our goals are to continue to improve the milking herd. I mean, our main enterprise, of course, is a dairy farm. We've got to continue to be profitable milking cows, and so we are expanding a little bit. Over at our Declo farm, we're building a rotary parlor, a 60 stall rotary, and we'll add probably 500 cows over there. We want to continue to be suppliers of AI bulls. We'd like to continue to do that. So we want to continue our breeding program. We like to try to stay on the forefront of the breeding trends, you know, such as wellness traits, health traits, but continue to have production. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to maintain high production. Do what the Holstein cow is really good at, making a whole lot of fat protein. But the areas we've got to improve, if we do some good selection intensity, or you know, the right selection focus, we can make a lot of improvement over the next generations, and I think we will. And when I say we, I mean as a breed. And then we as Seagull Bay Dairy, we'd like to continue to do that and be, you know, be on the forefront of that.